Hey everyone, Mango7Roll here. How we doing today? Welcome to another episode of Raid Shadow Legends. We're going to talk about the new fusion coming, Harvest Jack. He looks so cool and I'm really excited, and everything is announced ahead of time, so there's going to be no surprises. You know what's coming, and I'm going to try to get you through a couple tips to maybe make sure you pick up Harvest Jack just fine. This video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends and Plarium as well. Thank you so much for the support on this channel, and if you want to download this game, description below, you know where to find it. And let's get on with this. So first things first, let's take a look at him. Let's take a look at his abilities and see what he looks like, because that's really cool. He is undead, and he's right here. So he is super creepy looking. Super creepy looking. He's got like the death helm with 8 eyes. He's got heads everywhere. He's got like a greenish chest thingy. 102 base speed, not bad at all. His skill 1, these skills are really confusing, by the way. I still haven't totally figured them out, but they are really confusing. I can't wait to pick them up. So first skill, 3 hits, 25% chance of stealing a buff from the target. Number 2 is a 25% chance of placing fear for 1 turn if the target has no buffs. It also has a chance to increase by 100% if all buffs were stolen from the target. So I think the way this works is you start off stealing a buff, and then if they have no buffs, you give them fear. And if they only had 1 buff and you steal it, the fear goes to 100% chance. And then, of course, the base goes up to 35% if you're skilled up. Next up is his Dream to Ash. So Dream to Ash attacks all enemies and places a block buffs debuff for 2 turns on the target under fear debuffs. So if they're feared, block debuff happens after that. This guy, so much stuff going on with this guy. Removes any attack buff from the target and replaces them with decreased attack. Removes any continuous heal and replaces them with poison. And the number of poisons is obviously proportionate to the number of continuous heals. I personally love this skill. I don't know how good this actually is, but just the what's the word? Just the thematic lore behind this is so cool. I love when things do stuff that is like entertaining and fun, and that is definitely what this skill does. It's a 3-turn cooldown as well. So if you've ever wanted to punish a bad Alcazar or something like that, or somebody else, this is a good way to do it. Next up is his skill 3, Lord of Terrors. This is an AoE attack, 75% chance of placing True Fear for 1 turn, and also has a 30% speed decrease debuff for 2 turns, and decreases each target's turn meter by 15% if you place the True Fear. And also, if you don't True Fear, you sleep him instead. Also to note is it has a 100% chance to land the debuffs if you're skilled up here. And one thing I'm not sure is if they resist the True Fear, do they also resist the sleep, or does that happen after? That's actually something I will not get to experiment with until I pick him up. But overall, pretty cool ability as well. I just love his skill set. So unique, so cool. And then he has a passive. When he is attacked, you decrease the duration of all buffs on the attacker by 1 turn. So I like that a lot. He's also an HP-based unit too. Yep. HP-based for all of his abilities. Holy crap. So that's a lot of stuff. If we go over to his fusion here, Harvest Jack, HP-based, you have 2 weeks, 22 hours left as of recording this video. I actually super lucked out on this. I already have Lady Atessa. I already have High Katoon. Everybody should from the daily login. And I don't have Maeve yet, but I do have this already at 4-star in my bag somewhere. And all I'll need to farm at this point is Stitch Beast, which I have, Eris, which is farmable in Palace of Aravia, and Madman, which is on one of the events coming up. So super insane for that. And then of course I have to get Sawai Firstborn as well. So if you have any of these already, you save yourself a boatload of time. I'm so happy about this because I've never actually had the epics when it's come to the fusions before. So for Razin and for Folly, I had to farm every last thing, which was absolutely brutal. So let's go back into the notice here. That's not the notice. Let's go back into the notice here and take a look at where we get everything. And you need to make sure you read this. I cannot stress enough how doable these are as free to play if you plan. If you do not plan for this, if you don't do this smart, you are screwed. You need to be very, very, very smart about how you do this. And please read this. Do not miss anything you need. And you should get Harvest Jack just fine without spending any money if you don't want to. So to get through with this, Sawai Firstborn is probably going to be the hardest to get. She's available from Champion Chase, which is something you're probably not going to get unless you are spending a lot of money. This is like more the whale event. So you're very unlikely to get her from Champion Chase. It's probably going to take a lot. It's probably going to take a lot. And you're probably going to have to get lucky while you do it too. So I'm probably going to skip this one. And I'm going to be doing it on the Champion Training event instead. And the Champion Training is an 8-day event, October 28th to 6th. I'm not sure how many days that is, 8-9 days, something like that. So it's probably going to be 30,000 points or something similar to that. It's going to be a huge grind, but I think this is going to be like the grind of the entire event. As long as you get this one done, it's going to be fine. And the cool part is, if your Champion Chase, if you're not sure about the Champion Chase, you can start it after the training event. So you can try that first, see if you can do that one. And then if you're one of those whales, you can go for the Champion Chase instead. But as I always said, Champion Training event is what I'm going to do. As for Maeve here, you can get 4 of them. One for the Champion Training Tournament, which is different from the Champion Training event, but it does share the same time period. So you can get both of those done at once. You can also farm Eris from Palace of Aravia. You can also farm Beast Wrestler from Spider Dungeon. And as we talk about dungeons going on, the higher level you are on, the higher difficulty level, the higher chance you have to get them. As for Madman, available from Dungeon Divers, which is active right now, that's one of the ones I'm currently farming. I should have him soon. As for Haikatoon, if you don't want to use the one you got for the login bonus, Amarantine Skeleton you can get from Arena Salt, Muckstalker you can get from Godfrey's Crossing, you can get Ghoulish Ranger from Dragon's Lair, and you can probably farm all the dungeon ones while you're doing Dungeon Diver event, by the way, so keep that in mind. And the Mother Superior, also from the Dungeon Diver event. Then Lady Atessa, you can fuse her with a Steadfast Marshal, which is from the Champion Training Tournament, which does overlap with Maiev at the top. You can get Valdemar straight for Templar. You can get a Runic Warder from the Fire Knight's Castle, and again, do that during a Dungeon Driver event. And you can also get your Adjudicator from the Champion Training event. So I love how they laid this out. This makes this pretty doable, you know, like I don't think they should just give you a legendary for free. So I'm really glad this is challenging and doable, and not at all forceful to spend, if that makes sense. Like, I'm all for spending money, but I'm not all for forcing to spend money. So this is really exciting for me. So what my plan is, and what I think your plan should be too, as you go forward, is write everything down what you need. Do not miss anything, because I miss stuff if I don't write it down. So write every last thing down you need, write when it is, and kind of plan out what you're going to do. If you are finished the Dungeon Diver event, you should probably be farming the halls for your awakening materials, for your ascension materials. If you are done your ascension already, you should probably be getting your Dungeon Divers done. You should not be 6-starring or 5-starring or promoting anybody past 3-star. Basically, you shouldn't be using any sort of XP brews, nothing like that. You should not touch any of that until we hit these Champion Training events and Champion Training tournaments. So do not do any promotion. Save all your fodders for then, and make sure you save your double XPs too. So if you have some in your mailbox, don't touch them until this time, because you're gonna need to spam for that period. So overall, I think it's pretty self-explanatory what you should be doing here. If we go to the dungeons, this is the only one, I think, outside of running out of gems. The only one that can really screw you over here are the keeps. So make sure you really plan the keeps and make sure you're ready to do everything, you know? Like, make sure you have enough to promote all the things you need to promote, because you will be screwed if you don't. Once a week they open, so it's not an easy thing to do if you're just trying to wing it. So do that ahead of time. If you know you're gonna get the champion or the dungeon diver done in time, then start farming whatever keep is open at that moment to try to make sure you get that done, because that is a big killer, and you don't want to have to pay 200 gems to open it for 24 hours. That's just not a place you want to be. So as for his gear, that's a tough subject right now. I am unsure of how to gear this guy right now, but I can say there are a couple options you can do. For one, you can build him just like any of your defense-based units. Just instead of defense, main him HP instead. The problem with HP instead of defense is defense just scales infinitely better in Raid right now. So anybody with max defense and crit rate, crit damage is going to hit like so much harder than anybody with HP percent. So super keep that in mind as you are going forward. But with his weird skill set, I feel like I would want him to go pretty fast. You know, if I'm going to be using him in PvP or anywhere really, I'm going to want him basically as fast as possible, and getting all those fears up and stealing all those buffs, you know? So I would use speed boots for sure. That's like a guarantee. And then if you're going the HP build, I would probably just go HP chest, and then I'd probably go HP gloves as well. If it turns out he actually does a good amount of damage, you can go speed, HP for your boots, and then chest, and then you can go crit rate or crit damage for your gloves as well. You don't need lifesteal, because I don't think you're going to be using him for any sort of clan boss. He does steal buffs, but that's about all he does, so I can't really see him being used there. So I would probably just build him on accuracy sets or speed sets or something like that. With him, you're going to need a lot of accuracy, because every single one of his things uses accuracy. He's going to need an absolute boatload of that, so don't feel sad using that. But overall, as an HP-based unit, I'm probably going to have pretty good gear for him, because I use defense on basically all my units, like my Razen's defense, my Alton's defense, my Martyr's defense, my... they're all defense, basically. I have my Doom Priest as HP, and I don't really use her right now. And my Doom Priest even has defense on right now, so... wow, that's really good. I never noticed I had that. That's awesome. I need to put that on somebody else. Anyways, that's gonna be it for him, I think. As for your artifacts, obviously, try to get accessories with accuracy. That's probably gonna help you out as well. And that is gonna be it today. I hope everybody is awesome and everybody is really progressing on this super spooky pumpkin with a bunch of heads around him. I really hope you get them. As always, thank you so much for Plarium and Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. If you want to download this game, and you should, link description below. You get 100k silver, you get 50 gems, you get some energy, you get a free champion, which is the Executioner we're staring at right now. One of the people that actually carried me really early game. If you download it with the link below. And again, it's only available for 30 days with these promotions, so make sure you get it now. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe as always, and I'll talk to y'all later. Have a wonderful day. Bye, everybody.